I also would like to welcome you all. It's a joy to be with you. I'll read from Whispers from Eternity. Tune us that we may hear thy voice. Volumes of thy Savior voice resound through the loudspeaker of every loving heart. The voice of thy wisdom roams through the ether of space, seeking everywhere hearts that are tuned to ecstasy. Sadly, thy warning sermons pass unheard by souls deafened with the static of sense pleasures. O divine broadcaster, tune our souls, long distracted by the static of our indifference. Fine-tune us with the delicate touch of soul perception. Grant us the privilege of hearing thy magic melodies in the ecstasy of divine awakening. So this is a very important topic, and the interaction that Jesus has with this woman is very personal. It's interesting, but it demonstrates the need for self-effort. But the woman, in a society where women were not looked highly upon, had the courage to come up to him, behind him, and touch his robe, but not just touch it, she drew from him. And Swami Kriyananda, in the rays of the same light, writes an interesting paragraph, a little bit more explaining what happened when that woman touched Jesus' robe. He says, "The woman drew from Jesus not only actively, but by her willpower, but also with devotional love. She opened her consciousness to him and attuned herself to his spiritual vibrations. She not only drew from him, but gave to him also on a soul level. Both openness and self-giving on a deep level are important in divine healing." It's interesting because you don't think about all those different elements that are needed. You know, it just, in the story, you read it, she touched his robe and she was healed miraculously. But she had her heart open to him vibrationally, to who he was. She must have seen him before in the weeks before that and really felt open to him. You know, it's interesting because I remember, and I've mentioned this before, when I first came here, I was brand new to these teachings in one way. You know, many of us come and we've been on the path before and all of that, but still, to the vibration, to the setting, to everything. When I visited here, there really wasn't much here. It was the meditation retreat and a few domes, a temple and a kitchen and common dome, things like that. But I had just read, and I had taken a meditation class the 6 weeks before that. And I had just read the autobiography right before that, or I think it was during that meditation class. But when I came here, and I just visited twice that summer, I right away felt it's the vibration of the autobiography that I feel here. Now, keep in mind, it was only Swami Kriyananda and a few people, where there were maybe 90 people living here at most. But vibrationally, when Swami Kriyananda spoke about the teachings, he gave Sunday service, he gave a satsang, things like that, I felt Master, I felt Paramhansa Yogananda. And I was thinking about that in regard to the woman who touched the hem of Jesus, is that she would have had to be open to his vibrations. She would have had to experience them enough to draw healing from them. But as Swami Kriyananda says, she not only drew from him, but because her heart was open to him, she also gave to him. It's a two-way street, and we don't, healing prayers and, oh, she was miraculously healed, we don't often think about it in that way, but for it to be dynamic, it's a two-way street. It has to be both. And so it was very important, and I was very happy to read that Swami had clarified exactly what happened, because that translates to all of us. How we pray, how we seek divine healing, how we go about that. We have to not only open my heart is open and come on in, we have to be giving as well. We have to be communing as well. And in reading this and in thinking about this topic for the last number of days, at one point I thought, because it's an invitation to all of us to come in, to really come in closer, to commune with Master, with Swami, with our gurus, and to really make what they have our own, actively, the need for self-effort. We put out self-effort, and it's a two-way street, and so that starts to happen. But I thought also that the creation of Ananda was a long conversation and communion by Swami Kriyananda with Yogananda. That's how Ananda was created. And I thought, that's why I felt the vibration of Master when I first came here. Because Swami Kriyananda, in everything that he was bringing forth, he was praying, he was communing with Master to make sure that it was in tune with Master's vibration, with what he had in mind for the teachings, for a spiritual community, for everything. And I thought, wow, what an amazing thing that, because also in my entire time with Ananda, which has been decades, I always felt Swami there, communing. It was never that he became somebody different. He was having a bad day. I didn't hear Swami have a bad day. It wasn't that he was perfect. He became perfect at the end of his life, but he was always in communion with that divine through his guru. And that's really what is offered to us. I remember looking back on my time with Ananda and everything that I was asked to do, invited to do, all of that, was Swami Kriyananda inviting me to be part of what he was doing, of that communion with Yogananda. And it's really quite thrilling. It's very simple to do, but it takes our awareness. And Yogananda said this. We quote that little phrase, the minutes are more important than the years. But before that, Yogananda said, be aware in every minute, because the minutes are more important than the years. And so we really, we're asked to come up. We're asked to engage on a higher level. And we can do that. People look at Swami Kriyananda, who many of us knew and knew for a long time, or you can see videos of him, lots of them, and talks. And, with Master we have a few talks recorded. But we are meant to become like that. And so that invitation is given to us to also do that in prayer, in meditation, when we're dealing with our lives. And there's a beautiful story in the Mahabharata. I was just thinking last night, I wonder if Gyandev told this story, but too bad. You'll get to hear it again if you heard it last night. But it's a beautiful story. And it's about the moment in time when the Pandavas, the 5 brothers, and Draupadi, the wife, have come back to the kingdom and are trying to reclaim their place in the kingdom. And so, but the Kauravas have no intention of giving them even so much as a straw will cover of the kingdom. That's not going to happen. And so, but to make it look good, they invite Yudhishthira to the gambling hall. Oh, come and have a game of dice. And the person playing with him is Sakuni, Uncle Sakuni, and he is a professional gambler. And the dice are loaded, naturally. The dice are always loaded. Anyway, but in duality. And so Yudhishthira plays, and he likes to gamble. So unfortunately, they roll the dice, and he loses one by one by one. Armies, the archers, the palace, the whole kingdom. And then he says, well, that's, oh no, you've got your brothers. You can gamble more. And so he throws the dice. Both of the twins are gone. Then he throws the dice again. Arjuna's gone, given to the Kauravas, to the darkness. And then he throws the dice again, and Bhima is lost. And then he says, well, they say, no, you can gamble yourself as well. So he does that, and he's lost. And then after that, they say, oh, there's one more thing left. Draupadi, the wife of all of you. And he can't stop. Yudhishthira can't stop. Throws the dice. She's lost as well. Draupadi has no idea what's going on. She's in another room. The men are all there. Anyway, so they say, okay, let's go get her. So they bring her in, probably dragging her, something like that. She has no idea what's going on. And they say, okay, well, you've just been lost, and we now own you. And so first of all, we'd like to take off your sari in front of everyone. And at this point, Draupadi, there's more to the story, I won't tell it all, but Draupadi simply does this. Lord Krishna, you are everything to me. I don't have a life without you. Be with me now and protect me in whatever way is your will. And they start pulling on the sari. And they keep pulling and pulling and pulling. And this big heap of silk is going up over here because the sari is never ending, thanks to Krishna. So for us, it's a story to say to us, we're living through right now tumultuous times. And lots of people before us have lived through tumultuous times. But we have the opportunity now to look to how can we ground ourselves during this time? And the way is inside only. Yeah, inside only. And so this is what Draupadi did. She went inside and called on God. And so for each of us, we're given that opportunity through prayer, through meditation, through our daily lives, through communion, everything, to do that. It takes practice. You have to start now if you haven't already started. If you're in motion, great. But otherwise, it takes practice in the little things to really understand how to catch that moment and not react or be fearful or angry or whatever the emotions may be, but to really go inside and say, no, this is not my reality. What's happening, yes, I see it around me, but my reality is inside, and I will ground myself, I will contain myself, I will be with God inside. God, the Guru, the Masters, they are my protection. And so we find that if we do that, then when the bigger moments come, then we're prepared. We understand, because it's not easy to live through tumultuous times, and we're in for it. It's happening. So I would say really look to that and practice it. Master said the way to pray, Master being Paramhansa Yogananda, the way to pray is with a loving demand. But what does that mean? How do you pray with a loving demand? So we have to practice. We have to hold on to devotion. We have to hold on to our love for God. That is vital. And then through that, we can do that. Make that loving demand of God. Be with me now, I need you. And yet the heart is open and we're giving. We're not just taking. And so that's very important. And then the other thing that I was remembering was a very sweet story from Corrie ten Boom of The Hiding Place. And there's a lot of different stories. Some of them are more dramatic than others. But this was one that was very sweet with her. She, as a young child, her father was a watchmaker. They lived in Haarlem in the Netherlands. And as a young child, he would go regularly to Amsterdam to meet with the people who had the big clock, the real clock, so that he could always be tuning his clock to theirs, and make sure that he was in sync with that as a watchmaker, clockmaker. And but she said when they went to get on the train to go to Amsterdam, her father always held both tickets. And he never gave her ticket until the train arrived, and then she could get on with her ticket. And she said, the reason I remembered that is because in the hard times that we went through, I realized that that ticket represented my ticket of understanding through God. And that he would give me that ticket only when I really needed it. So before then, I had to be aware, be in communion, to realize that presence, but the ticket of understanding didn't come until I really needed it. And so, again, they're just sweet stories, but they're ways for us to begin to be aware of how to commune with God in a deeper way. And it's very, very important. Really, it's what's happening these days. And, Master, again, will say these things and people kind of chuckle and, he said, this world, and keep in mind, we're talking about our world today, whatever. This world is for your education and entertainment. But he said, very few are either educated or entertained. And why is that? Because they're not centered in themselves, because they're not communing with that divine presence. That's the only way that we get there. And so for all of us in this time, I would highly recommend that you take seriously this invitation from the divine and from our masters and from Swami Kriyananda to engage in the life that is interior and the life that will allow you to have prayer as a real dynamic action and communion in your life. With that, the education and entertainment will be happening, but you'll be in a place to be able to receive that in the right way, to see it in the right way. And we'll see what happens. The other thought I had was, in times like these, it can look like things are really crazy, and isn't there anything I can do? What can I do? Meditate. Be a channel of God's light in the world today. That is the best thing you can do, because believe me, when you go out of here, when you interact with other people, when you go home, when you go to town, and you are in that vibration, people notice. You know, it's funny, when we're around, Pranaba and I, when we go somewhere, oh, we really love the color blue, you know, but it's more than that. You know, oh, you look so cute together and things like that, but it's more than that. I think they're feeling a vibration, and please understand, each one of us is very important to this light coming into the world right now. Don't belittle yourself in any way, but do practice. Do take it up in earnest, and do what Swami Kriyananda did in creating Ananda. Ask every day, God, this is what I need to do today. Be with me, help me, guide me. Is this right? Not so that it's nervous or weird, but just so that there's a communion with that divine that's ongoing. That way, whatever surprises the world or your own karma may bring you, you'll be prepared. And you'll be able to really be a channel for that light into the world in this time, which is very much in need of the light.
Hello there, brother Bluebell, play me a tune today. The breezes on the meadow have made you look so gay. The meadowlarks are singing, joy's in the air. Come sad, your bells are ringing, you've gladness to share. Hello there, sister Dewdrop, linger a little while. Your colors in the sunlight would make a monarch smile. What need have I for treasures, diamonds or gold? The fairest of all pleasures are here to behold. Hello there, dearest kinsmen, pebbles and laughing brooks, you timid little beetles that hide in private nooks. God made us of his gladness, come then and sing, to cure the world of sadness. Oh, ring, bluebell, ring, to cure the world of sadness. Oh, ring, bluebell, ring, to cure the world of sadness. Oh, ring, bluebell, ring.
I have been roaming, forsaken by thee, who hast seen me roping, hardly ever answering. I shall be roaming, bursting all the boundaries of heart, evermore moving toward thee, to thy vast and throbbing heart. Come thou to me, O Lord, O come at last to me. Centuries and centuries I have waited now for thee. Through endless incarnations I've called out for thy name, searching by the streamlets of all my silvery dreams. I know that thou must come at last to steal the flowers of my heart. In gladly sing my song to thee, and yet I know my love must reach thee. Though many lives I have to wait, on mountain crags of high devotion I sat